Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Monday, October 3rd, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Kansas City Royals vs Cleveland Guardians. This series between Kansas City and Cleveland doesn't mean much as the Guardians are already locked into hosting the 3rd seed in the wild card, while Kansas City is already eliminated. With that, it may be hard to bet as Cleveland may look to give some players some rest before the playoffs, but on Tuesday, I do like the Guardians to get the win. Daniel Lynch has struggled mightily as of late, as well as in the one start against Cleveland, while Quantrill has been excellent lately. The Canadian is also undefeated at home as he pitches well in Cleveland, and I expect that to continue here. Kansas City's offense has also struggled to put up runs, and it will be even harder against Quantrill, so take the Guardians on the money line here. Daniel Lynch has been hit hard as of late and against Cleveland, I like the over here. Cleveland, although Quantrill has been excellent against the Royals and at home, he still will give up 2 or 3 runs, which will help the over cash, as Cleveland should be able to score runs in bunches against Lynch. In the last 3 games they have played before Monday's game, all 3 have gone over 8 runs, while in the 16 games they have played, the games are averaging 9.5 runs per game. Meanwhile, in 6 games not including Monday's games in Cleveland, the games are averaging 9 runs per game, while the games have gone over 8-4, with one other game being 8 on the dot, so take the over here. Detroit Tigers vs Seattle Mariners. While the Tigers have played well over the past dozen or so games, there is certainly a sense of urgency for the Mariners to close out the season on a high note and prep for the playoffs. Gonzalez certainly has something to prove in this game, as his postseason status is certainly not a lock, since he will not be in the starting rotation for the wildcard round. He will likely look to prove his worth in this matchup, and the weak-hitting Tigers may be the perfect fodder for him. Detroit enters the series just 9-21 against the AL West this season, and the Mariners are certainly motivated to lower that mark. They are, in addition, 20-22 against lefties this season as well. Look for Seattle to get back to their winning ways in the opener of this doubleheader as they ready for the wildcard round. Take the Mariners with the money line. The Detroit Tigers are 26th in team batting average at .230. The Tigers dropped to next to last in on-base percentage at .286, last in slugging percentage at .345, and last in runs scored with 537. The leading home run hitter for Detroit is Javier Baez with 16, while Eric Haas is second with 14. Baez is leading Detroit RBI with 64, and Jeimer Candelario is second with 48 RBI. Only 4 players for Detroit have double digits in home runs, and as a team the Tigers have hit just 105 round trippers in 158 games. Seattle has the 7th best team ERA, and Detroit has scored the fewest runs in baseball, you do the math. The total has finished under in more games for Detroit, 85, than for any other team in baseball, with the exception of the Houston Astros. The total has finished under in 58.6% of Detroit's 158 games. Seattle has had the total finish under in 4 of the last 5 games overall, as well as in 22 of the last 34 games that the Mariners have played against a team from the American League Central. Our total pick is under the total pick. St. Louis Cardinals vs Pittsburgh Pirates. The St. Louis Cardinals have not yet named a starter for Tuesday's game, but it really doesn't matter. The Cardinals have nothing to play for as their playoff seed can't change, and they are locked into 3rd, as this is the second to last game of the regular season. Look for the Cardinals to give some players some rest TP get ready for the playoffs. Well, this is almost it for the Pirates. They really had a bad second half of the season as they sank to the bottom of the NL Central. They are now tied with the Reds for last place as of Monday. But they have actually played pretty well in recent weeks to get into a tie with the Reds, which had been ahead of them. They actually swept the Reds last week and have won 5 of their last 8 games. This fairly strong finish makes me think that the Pirates actually care about not finishing in last place. They'll try to get a W on Tuesday with Bryce Wilson taking the hill. Wilson is 3-9 on the season with an ERA of 5.53 and 24 overall appearances and 20 starts. He has 78 strikeouts and 30 walks in 112.1 innings. He was surprisingly great in his last outing, throwing 8 scoreless innings with 6 strikeouts and a no decision against the Reds. This might be a rare spot to take a bottom dweller like the Pirates against a playoff-bound team like the Cardinals. But in this case it looks like a good bet. The Cardinals have literally nothing to play for, and as they haven't named a starter yet, they are trying to get their rotation set for the playoffs, and they will want to rest their workhorse relievers. That means we could get a collection of bottom-of-the-staff pitchers in this one. Meanwhile, the Pirates are playing like they want to avoid last place, and Wilson actually pitched well in his last outing. Take the Pirates here. St. Louis is coming off an emotional display over the weekend. Retiring veterans Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina were honored before Sunday's game. They were pulled from the game in the fifth, along with veteran starter Adam Wainwright, allowing them to walk off together to a standing ovation. The teams are changing home stadiums after having just played 3 games against one another in St. Louis. The Cardinals won that series 2-1 and have dominated Pittsburgh all year. It has been another awful season for Pirates fans, as they sit in last place in the National League Central entering the final 2 days of the year. They have some good pieces offensively, and as long as they can shore up their starting pitching for next year, they have a shot at being competitive. That is not the case this year, but they will presumably be facing one of the Cardinals' unproven bullpen arms to open this game. St. Louis averages 4.77 runs per game, good for 5th in the majors. They will have their way with Bryce Wilson, who has struggled at times for the Bucs this year. The total number has gone over in 6 of 8 meetings between these two NL Central foes. Take the over. Chicago Cubs vs Cincinnati Reds. The Cubs will have Javier Assad make the start in this one. Assad was outstanding in his previous start, recording 5 shutout innings against the Phillies and earned the win to even his season record at 2-2. The rookie was solid in his first few big league outings but struggled in September and enters with a 3.62 ERA and a 1.55 WHIP in 32.1 innings pitched. Assad allowed 4 runs in 5.1 innings in his lone meeting against the Reds in a game the Cubs lost. Luis Cessa will be on the mound in this bout. Cessa was solid last time out, allowing 3 runs and walked 2 in 6 innings against the Pirates and finished with a no decision in a game the Reds lost by a 4-3 score in extra innings. The veteran right-hander has conceded 2 or fewer runs in 2 out of his last 3 performances and features a 4.76 ERA and a 1.35 WHIP, accompanied by a 4-4 record in 75.2 innings pitched on the year. Cessa has squandered 7 runs in 9 innings against the Cubs this season and has allowed 7 runs in 13 career innings against the rivals. The Chicago Cubs are one of the hottest teams in the big leagues. They have won 7 out of their last 8 games, including a dominating 3-game sweep against the Phillies, followed by a home sweep against this Reds team on the weekend. They outscored the Reds by a wide 16-3 margin in that series. Furthermore, Cubs starter Javier Assad logged 5 shutout innings against the Phillies last time out and features a stellar 2.81 ERA in his 4 road outings. The Reds are slumping, going 1-6 in their last 7 games. Reds starter Luis Cessa has squandered 7 runs in 9 innings against the Cubs this season. Chicago Cubs plus 102. Chicago is averaging 3.9 runs per game, while the Reds are averaging 2 runs per game. The offense for each team has struggled and have not been putting tons of runs across the board. The under is 5.11 in Cubs' last 7 games versus a starter with a WHIP greater than 1.30. The under is 4.0 in Reds' last 4 Tuesday games. Our total pick is under 8 runs.